Good morning, Dinakar.
Hi, Venkata. How are you?
Yeah.
Morning.
So I would like to, introduce our next speaker, Dinakar Munagala, and also their company Blaze. Blaze has been shortlisted as one of the top, semiconductor startups focused on AI. One of them, I think they were rated number one, and they do have an office in Silicon Valley and Hyderabad. So Hyderabad is playing a very key role in their success. And then let me introduce Dinakar as well. Dinakar co-founded Blaze and he is the CEO of Blaze. And as I mentioned, they are rated as one of the most promising startups in AI space. And we are very proud to have Blaze with us in Hyderabad. Dinakar has more than 22 years experience in the industry, and his experience in successfully leading global teams, building graphics chips for multiple, more than $10 billion programs with recognition for technical excellence, new initiatives and results focus. Dinakar started Blaze with a bootstrapping effort, and he started with creating a more energy efficient processor architecture for the needs of new generation of AI computing. Dinakar has led Blaze in delivering a transformational compute solution that unites silicon and software to optimize AI at scale. Under his leadership, the company has brought together marquee investors to back the vision of the founding team, grown to ship products to multiple customers across automotive and other sectors. Prior to co-founding Blaze, Dinakar spent 12 years at Intel, and he was involved in programs for Intel's next generation multi-core, multi-threaded graphics chips, and the architecture for Intel's first integrated CPU GPU product family. I'm also proud to say that Dinakar is a Hyderabad product with a Bachelor's of Engineering degree from Electrical and Computer Engineering from Usmania University and a Master's degree in Electrical and Computer Engineering from Purdue University. He is actively engaged in community service activities. Dinakar has for 10 years taken a leadership role in fundraising for CRY, Child Relief and You, Vibha, a Sacramento Action Center, a non-profit that supports education projects for underprivileged children, and is an active supporter of Kiva and Vitana initiatives, empowering students and entrepreneurs globally to achieve their goals via non-profit microfinance loans. With that, I invite Dinakar to address the delegates.
Venkata, thank you for the introduction. Let me share my screen. I do have some slides. Please tell me if you're able to. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay, in the regular presentation mode, right? Just making sure.
Yes.
Okay, all right. First of all, thank you to the organizers of the IESA AI Summit. Pleasure being here. Good morning to all of you, and thanks for the opportunity to present. Today, the topic of my talk is AI in the real world, how it is beneficial, how it's transforming the world around us, some of the impediments that we face in productizing AI, and how innovation can come together to solve the problem, and then the huge amount of benefits, and also I will contextualize it to India, right? Some of the use cases, some of the huge impact that it can happen to society. So first of all, right, why is AI a big deal, right? If you look at it historically, there have been key inflection points, and those related to revolutions that happened in time, wherein new ways of doing things came up, old ways went away, new opportunities came up, new industries came up, and created massive impact on economy at each phase, right? Be it the industrial revolution or the electrical revolution. In the more recent past, several of us have been part, of course, of these, which is the computer revolution, the mobile internet revolution, and finally where we are here is the inflection point of AI. And AI is coming. It started in deep in the data center. It is now proliferating to every walk of our life, be it education, healthcare, smart cities, you name it. And it is real and it's huge. We're talking about a $13 trillion kind of an impact on GDP by 2025 worldwide. So let's examine, what are some of the common trends, right, across PC and mobile, and why AI is equally big, if not bigger. And this is bringing a little bit of, I'm a Rajni fan and a movie fan, just bringing in a little bit of humor into the presentation. This is the common thread right across Rajni using a PC, a mobile phone, and then finally getting AI into our lives. But keeping humor apart, right? Let's really examine what is the key innovation that happened in each of these revolutions and why it's applicable to AI. So if you look at it, fundamentally, the PC revolution happened because of a couple of main reasons, right? The first one being affordable compute, the whole x86 processing power, and making it affordable in the form of a PC. Ease of use software, right? Be it Microsoft Windows, Office productivity tools, how it really helped people to use computers. And then the birth of the internet, which connected all the computers, and that led to huge impact in a way. If you look at mobile revolution that started off, again, it's the common theme is an easy portable device that's in your pocket, having natural UI, easy to understand, easy to use with a touchscreen, having low-cost software, right? There's an app for this, an app for this, an app for everything, and how all of this is connected via social networks. You connect to your friends and families, etc., or business circles, right? So those were the key aspects. Now, taking a piece of this and applying it to AI is the most obvious thing to do, and that's how AI will grow. So the first thing is affordable AI compute is a necessity. The second one is really ease of use of software, right? It can't be, it has to be easy, intuitive, and graphical in nature. The third one is keeping your data private to yourself. Data is what drives AI, and how do you protect it and make it private? And having a whole bunch of intuitive, easy to use AI applications so that it truly benefits end markets and use cases. That is a requirement. And finally, there's this notion of self-customizing AI apps, right? So for example, for healthcare, right? It's not necessary that the same medicine that is good for me is good for a friend of mine, right? It's possible our body types are different. So can AI come to the rescue there? Those kind of things are actually happening right now as we speak in AI. So taking it to the next step, looking at what does it take to develop and deploy an AI app, right? And the steps involved. The first piece is getting data and training, preparing it, and then deploying it to edge computing devices that make AI happen at the edge, and then deploying it into a field. It could be a supermarket, it could be a factory floor, wherever else, a smart city, and using it there for months and making sure that you refine it as you use it, right, based on various local conditions. So that's the nature of the development cycle and the problem. So in order to make this happen, what is needed, right, taking from our previous slide, is an affordable AI computing plus ease of use software. So the equivalent of a personal computer. I mean, the personal computer need not, it's not as important whether the computer is on your desktop or whether it's an instance in the cloud or in a server. But the idea is that it needs to be affordable, and you power it up just like a laptop and it just works, right? Just open it out of the box. That kind of a user experience, and making sure that the user experience is completely automated, code-free, easy to use, and it is connected to model marketplaces. Nowadays, you have a whole bunch of model marketplaces? How do you connect your efforts into developer communities, peer-to-peer networks to get help? Are you connected to things like AWS, Azure, etc.? All of these things are a requirement. So having, again, well-connected software plus an easy-to-use software on top of affordable hardware is going to be a key requirement. Now, take, for example, a retail company that wants to teach some in-store cameras, right, using neural networks or AI to detect potential buyers. And if they're stuck on an aisle, how do you send a coupon or something to help them close a sale? This is a real example that we worked with a retail giant. And there are key areas because of which AI adoption is slowed down. The very first thing is data. Where do they get data, right? So this organization is a brick and mortar entity, and they know the value of AI and how it can benefit them, but they don't have data. How do they get that data is one key impediment. The second one is the programming languages and the UI is highly technical, right? You do need an army of data scientists and machine learning engineers to solve such problems. The third piece is lack of explainability of an AI model. You did, let's say, create something. How do you actually audit it and make sure that it is truly behaving the way it should, right? And finally, somebody high up in the value chain in the organization, like the finance function, before they cut a check, they look at, hey, what is the ROI on this? I invest all this money. How do I recover the costs, right? So these are some of the practical problems that are slowing down AI. So breaking it down into individual pieces, the very first thing is affordable compute. The challenge is that today the hardware that is out there is expensive, right? You do need almost a $200,000 kind of a box in order to train and build AI models. Whether the box is on premises or in the cloud. If it's in the cloud, you're paying roughly $1,000 per to develop an app. That's the amount of time it takes to train a model, and it's pretty expensive. You can opt to a lower cost GPU, right? But the challenge then is that it takes a long time to train a model. So these are some of the practical problems. And then once you're done, how do you deploy it to an edge computer that is capable of doing real-time actions, right? Be it a smart city, be it an autonomous car, right? You do need low latency, low power solutions, low thermal that can fit in a certain time envelope and power envelope and act on a certain decision to maneuver around a person, etc. Right? In the case of an autonomous car. So there needs to be this element of low latency, low power, and fully programmable to do a different wide set of use cases. So that's the problem with hardware that we face today. Coming to user interfaces, they're actually quite intimidating. So of course, if there's a programmer who's actively working in the Linux space and they're building AI applications, this is easy, right? You fire up a Linux terminal and do what you want. But think of if AI has to proliferate to different use cases, education, medical, ag tech, industrial use cases, and so on. It's not necessary all of them are familiar with coding in Linux and data science, etc. Right? So this environment can be pretty intimidating. So we need to figure a solution for this. The third piece is data. In AI is completely data driven, and it takes about roughly about 75% of time building an AI application really is because of data prep, data cleanup, making sure it's relevant, and then training it. And very few companies have access to majority of the data. Right? Smaller companies don't even have access to the data that's meaningful through which they can create an AI application that can be helpful for them. And finally, the explainability, as I mentioned earlier. So this is an interesting example. There was an AI model that was used to qualify credit card users for Apple's credit card a couple of years ago. And a husband and wife living in the same roof, paying taxes on the same income, right? So identical. And they apply for this credit card. and the husband gets 10 times more approval to spend than the wife. So and they couldn't explain it. So New York actually got into a lawsuit regarding this, and of course the rest is kind of history. But the point is that there was no way to explain why the AI model did this. So they had to go and manually intervene and change this. In fact, it's not just the couple. I read somewhere that Steve Wozniak, the Apple co-founder, had the same problem. He had, I think, a very different credit score and a limit compared to his spouse. So having ability to actually audit an AI model so that you're sure of the results and is absolutely key. Many companies, all the big companies, are actually working on removing biases like gender bias, race bias, etc., out of AI models. So, of course, we're a young company, and we're doing our part. We're excited about the space, and really proud of our team that we actually have now product out in the market, and this is based on our first generation processors that are commercially available and shipping, and we do have affordable hardware compute that can do low power and high performance AI. Right, what you see here is a palm-sized supercomputer that can do edge analytics. There's also a PCI Express accelerator card that you stick into server chassis for different kinds of AI needs. And the best part is these are all affordable, and they do solve real AI problems in a low power manner. And we didn't stop at innovating at the hardware level. We thought through the whole entire value chain, and how do we make adoption of AI easy in everyday lives. And we went ahead and invested a great deal in the whole ease of use of compute, ease of use software tools. So we built something called AI Studio. And what this is a code-free, completely automated interface where if you have some data, it'll prompt you and figure out what you would want to do with that data. How do you actually create an AI model? How do you deploy it? And the whole ML ops piece of it, wherein you're operationalizing AI for a specific need. It helps you with that whole end-to-end application development in a very automated fashion. And the best part, it's all code-free with a mouse click, almost like a Macintosh experience or a Windows experience, that you could do all of this easily. And there's also the whole data part, and how we're solving it is we're doing many things, but at high level, majority of the AI applications will be pre-trained models. So it's been trained for something, and then you're deploying it and customizing it right at the edge for a specific use case. So we're making all of that happen. These are transfer learning techniques, and so you customize it for a local store or a local industry or a shop or whatnot. Right? So we're providing all the tools to make that happen in an intuitive fashion, and also we're making sure that we're plugging into the ecosystem, right? All the model marketplaces, so that anybody can import models from or data sets from different marketplaces, be it GitHubs of the world or model zoos and so on. And we're making sure that the best part is all of this is explainable AI, right? This was the auditable AI part. With a mouse click, you can actually understand how, with a certain data set, a certain model was created, and make it completely transparent, built on open standards, and make it easy to understand and explain. So that the customer actually knows why a certain decision system was built the way it was. So the end of the end result is typically to build an AI application and deploy it out into the field, right from the data to train to optimize, deploy, and ML ops part of it would take months. We're talking about 1+ year to 2 years. We've literally cut it down with the use of affordable hardware and ease of use tools. We've cut it down to days to weeks. Right? Fire up the AI Studio, drag and drop, create a certain use case with certain data sets and certain models, and deploy it out, and then manage it. Right? The whole part, we've made it very intuitive, easy to use. You need not be a data scientist, right? It's as intuitive as firing up an office productivity tool right? Microsoft Excel or Word, and using it. We made it that simple. So now taking a few real life examples. This is a company that we're working with, where they wanted to examine and understand plant disease, right, at crops. And the way they were doing it prior to us entering, working with them, was they were capturing with multiple cameras images, the project manager, and shipping it back to the back office, where there was a team downloading the images, and there was yet another team trying to apply analytics to the images, right? So it was a long process, many people, etc. What our AI Studio product did is just with mouse clicks, the product manager himself could rig a single camera with our hardware and our studio to the tractor, and take images right there and examine, customize it, and understand the plant disease real time right there, right? So there was no more multiple teams. It cut short time, the cost, everything, and made it a reality, right? So this was possible because of the combination of our technology. Similar situation, applying it to a retail security application. This was a pretty large retail giant that we're working with, and they were traditionally they used security guards to man stores, and then they went to recording videotapes and sending it to a cloud and trying getting people to look at it, right, whether there was a theft or whatever, right, which is very retroactive. What they were able to do without hardware and software is really add the camera real time, develop and deploy an app wherein they could understand theft or people behavior, buying habits, etc., very easily, right, within an affordable compute, easy to use software. So yet another example how this could happen. And the best part is they were not even data scientists, right, and they could make this happen. Smart city is another use case where everything from recognizing humans to number plates and so on, everything, we're part of such engagements. Now, so the big deal is, it's not about, hey, yesterday at 2 p.m. a car hit a person and trying to investigate the event, but rather we now are able to, with technology, prevent such an accident, right, based on using AI techniques. So that's a pretty huge life-changing benefit that can happen. This is another one which I'm really proud of. Our team at Blaze built this. This was roughly about 1 year ago when COVID was just breaking. And the challenge was that the sooner you identified a COVID situation and you isolated the case, that was the best way of succeeding. And there weren't as many test kits in many countries. So our engineers were wanting to contribute to the cause, and they came up with this method with just using X-ray images, very simple application where they trained X-ray images to be COVID positive or negative. So you just uploaded an X-ray image from your phone into the app, and it told you whether, and with a click of a button, whether it was a COVID positive or negative. And the best part is they did this within 1 week. Within 1 week, they had this whole thing up and running, right? So such a huge, and we of course offered it up to about 4 different governments to take and use it. But this was pretty spectacular that there was a real problem to be solved, and there was a motivation to solve it, and then there was ease of use hardware and software just to make it happen within a week. Now coming to India, India is a huge country with a massive amount of opportunities, and I'm really optimistic that this will impact us in a big way in India. So for example, the way I think about India is they're all about creative solutions economy, right? That's the acronym I keep thinking in my mind. If you recall, when there was the whole mobile revolution was happening, the concept of a missed call, right? That you'd give a missed call, and that meant some data transmission, that meant a signal to the different people different ways. So another example I can think of is during the whole demonetization phase, how all the vendors, small and big, small shops even, began taking mobile payments. And so where there was a situation and there was a solution to solve a certain problem, it took off in a viral way, right? So, there's a lot of creativity that went into it and ease of use, and that led to huge amount of mass uptake, right, and solved a real problem. So the Indians are inherently very creative at making such things happen. So I'm optimistic that with all the problems that exist, and AI being a technology that can help any of the problems that we have in our everyday lives, creative solutions will come up. Take, for example, agriculture, right? Helping farmers with better crop yield, etc., is a very obvious one, right? I mean, all the farmers are not sophisticated in terms of technology, but all of them have smartphones, right? And remote connectivity is there pretty much in every end of the country. So can there be a way where better crop yield kind of applications are, some research institute or even a college grad in triple IT, for example, in Hyderabad, doing some work and proliferating it in the form of an application to all the farmers, right? Such things are possible. Coming to smart cities, again, this is huge, right? Government has announced a massive amount of investment towards smart cities, and everything from energy conservation to making it safe, preventing of any terror attacks, right? Catching terror ahead before it actually happens, detecting those things. Water conservation. So many benefits are bound to happen. Healthcare. In India, right, all the major cities have stellar healthcare, right, in the form of super specialty hospitals. But the moment you go to towns or villages, there are no specialty hospitals or super specialty hospitals. So can AI come to solve this need, right? Potentially, a junior doctor with the help of an AI model diagnosing a certain disease, right, doing majority of the work that they can do right there. Helping the AI model even help with prescribing the right amount, medicines, etc., taking care of as much as they can right there. And what they cannot solve and what requires super specialty hospitals are what is sent back. So really, healthcare can be benefited in a huge way. Families can be benefited, I believe, because of AI models and techniques. So the whole power of this transformation and impacting society is you could be a doctor, you could be an educator, a biologist, a financial advisor, or whatnot, any other field, and you have your problem to solve, right? Decode X-rays, to using robotics, to analyzing your stock portfolio, whatnot. But you don't know how to program, right? You do not have $200K to spend towards AI, a hardware box doing AI, right? Not do you have the time, right? So we believe all of these can be solved by having affordable computing, and ease of use software tools to adopt AI and make it very intuitive, very easy, just like a code-free environment, drag and drop, build applications, develop and deploy, and solve a real problem that matters. So we are really excited and feel blessed to be part of this momentum. And I'd like to, again, thank IESA for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dinakar. It's been, it's such a wonderful speech, and we are especially, excited about the opportunities you've been talking about, the kind of AI applications that can be, used within India, and so it's definitely a very exciting and educative speech from you. We have some interesting questions from the audience. And we do have time to take a few questions here.
Sure.
So how critical is the software for AI and ML company? I mean, you are supposed to be a chip company. That's how you started. I think you were making your own chips and getting them fabricated. So how critical is the software portion to your company?
Extremely critical. Right from day one, we chose to invest deeply in software. Mm-hmm. So let me back up a second. So we had this vision all along that in order to solve multiple problems in diverse use cases, first of all, you need a programmable hardware processor. So we did that. And then after that, we made sure that there's ease of use software on top of this, right? So to make sure that the software, because software is ultimately the piece that customers and different industries, different people actually experience. So we made sure that we invested quality time into tools and made sure that it's really easy. And so we believe truly having a programmable approach with ease of use software is key, and that's why we invested there quite a bit. In fact, vertical solutions to specific industries is something that we're partnering with other end system integrators or companies. But yeah, that's how important software is, right? That's where the value extraction happens significantly.
Thank you, Dinakar. Thanks for the clarification on that. So I have another interesting question, actually a couple of questions. Let me see if I can club them into one question. So how do you make money as a company? Do you sell systems or you sell chips? Or how many chips you've been selling? This is a question from one of the audience, but I don't know if you can really answer that, being a startup company.
Sure. So we are a systems company. The products that I showed in one of the slides earlier are accelerator cards and modules. The end products are that. Into some automotive applications, the business models are slightly different, how you actually get integrated into the car, because there you cannot really sell a module, but rather you're integrated into a powertrain or whatnot in different ways through our automotive partners. That's a different business model. But by and large, we're a systems company, hardware plus software to make things happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dinakar, on that.
Sure.
And I have one question from IESA. Naturally, you have a large operation in Hyderabad. I believe you are around 200 engineers now and still planning to grow. And we like you to be successful, very, very successful, and pave the path for many startups like yours in Hyderabad. So what kind of role either IESA or government of Telangana can play to make you successful?
First of all, thanks for the kind words. We look forward to being part of IESA and growing the local ecosystem. We're part of the team, right? It's as much as we want to do for IESA that we expect from IESA. I think the whole idea is about how we make it easy for companies to grow in the region, which a lot of it is already happening. There are a few things that come to mind in terms of I think we should definitely have a long conversation, but things like fostering programs for innovation, getting more maybe research from different universities worldwide, etc., right, and making things happen here, because the combination of research, investment, right, private investment, and entrepreneurism, it's like a circle, right? One fuels another. So it will be great to see how we can make that circle happen in India. Right? I want to be part of that. And IES has been great ever since we joined IESA. I get a lot of information from all the programs that are being put together. So really, good work that the committee is doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess.
Thank you, Dinakar. We will continue to work with you and provide you whatever support we can. And
sure.
We wish you the best. And
thank you very much.
With that, we